Hi, this is Clive Nolan from Arena. We've just released a new album. It's called The Unquiet Sky. Hope you get to listen to it. You're watching Morow.com. Well, we knew we wanted to do a new album and a new tour about a year and a half ago. So last year we started collecting bits of material again, like we normally do. And but to be honest, by the beginning of this year, we still didn't have an album. So I think it was about the 3rd of January. Sat down and just said, right, we need an album because Mick was due in on the 8th of January to record the drums. So the real structuring and shape of the album came together very quickly, which is good. And I think this album has reminded me a little bit of the Visitor process. It's kind of grown on its own in a sort of organic way, and I've been listening to it thinking, wow, actually that sounds very good. So yeah, it's been a good experience, actually, a very positive experience, this album, and I'm very happy with it. I spent, that year we were collecting little bits and pieces, and there was material there. And when I was on the Pendragon tour, I spent a lot of time in one of the lounges on the bus, putting like lyrical ideas, just writing down words and just free association from my head. And when I sat down to write the lyrics, that was actually quite good. That came in handy. So it came together pretty well. I've worked with him in Morow when we did the musicals. He's become involved in that, playing bass. So when we needed a bassist, he was the obvious choice. He's this great bassist, easygoing guy, easy to work with. Very creative. I knew he did this photography stuff already, so we asked him to do the artwork for this, and he just started compiling ideas and manipulating photographs and whatever. And it was, I think it was just what this album needed. So yeah, it worked out very well. Well, it's based on a book, a short story by a writer called M.R. James, called Casting the Runes. It was also turned into a film called Night of the Demon, or Curse of the Demon if you see it in America. It's basically about this guy who dabbles in black magic, and he puts together a curse because somebody is saying they don't believe in what he does. And this curse is a piece of paper with runes on it. And the idea is he gives it to them. If the person accepts it willingly, then they get the curse. They have 30 days to live before the demon kills them. But if they find out they've got the curse and they can find a way of returning it to the guy, the baddie, then the curse goes to him instead. And that's basically what happens in the story. It's a very dark, it's very brooding, but it's got a very strong atmosphere. And I've always liked it. I loved it when I saw the film when I was a kid. I never forgot it. So yeah, it works. Well, because in the story, the victim is constantly looking into the sky because it kind of feels that's where it's going to come from, So when there's clouds or maybe there's something happening in the sky, you get that sort of red morning, in the morning and whatever, then it's the unquiet sky. Maybe that's where the demon's coming. No, I'm not trying to turn Arena into a musicals outfit or anything like that. No, we like concept albums. I mean, every album we've ever made with Arena has been conceptual, even if it's not a concept album. There's been a theme. Because somehow when you write an album, for me anyway, I think that there should be something that ties the songs together. That's why it's an album. Anyway, that's how it feels to me. The way it used to work was every odd number was a concept album. In Constantine's case, they had The Visitor, was number 3. Then Contagion was number 5. Then where do we get to? 7th Degree was number 7. But this, we've cheated and done number 8 is now a concept album as well. When I was thinking about what the album could be about, this was sitting in my mind. Funnily enough, I had considered this story as an idea for a musical, but I just thought it's too dark. If you want, when you do a musical, you want it to be family friendly, really. And I didn't think this was very family friendly, so I forgot about it as a musical. But then it did seem to make a good concept. Still being around after 20 years, I think, is probably the biggest achievement. I don't know if there's one. I mean, there have been some great gigs over the years. Certain ones have stood out more than others, perhaps, but it's very hard to pick one. I think we've had great moments with the albums, and sort of highlights along the way. It's as with any band, it's a graph. It tends to go like that, really. I think perhaps the biggest achievement is still being around after 20 years.
And so your wish is to keep on playing for arena and
20 years. I don't think we've thought that far ahead. I think at this stage, every year is a bonus.
From my short and fragile life.
No. Well, no. I think this time we wanted to celebrate the fact that we were operating as a band, still going, etc. And I think the people who are in it now are relevant to that particular part of the story. Everyone who's been in the band has got a place in the history, but I didn't think that the show was about that. The show is about us now, 20 years on. So I think that we didn't feel the need for special guests this time.
Not as much as I would like, because, as you can probably figure out, a lot of the time that it was being written, I was doing the Lonely Robot thing. So I did go along to 2 writing sessions, but normally I'm a little bit more involved than I was perhaps last year. But that's to say, the guys understood that I had to do this album. So yeah, I did turn up for a couple of writing sessions, but do you know what? I can't even remember. It's difficult to know, because you kind of turn up and you play a bunch of riffs and ideas, and then you kind of Clive records them, and I can't even remember what they were now, so I don't even know if they ended up in songs, but certainly I did turn up for a couple of writing sessions. But it just was bad timing, really, more than anything, because I had to finish the Robot album. But it's there's always next time.